Hello YouTube, Southern Wolverine back in transit to Laythe, to Jool with Bob Kerman in Operation Laythe episode 34. Thank you for joining us once again. If you recall the previous episode, we had something of a mishap involving the space vehicle that was supposed to go to Laythe. It was supposed to have four more of these orange tanks and four more sets of nuclear engines that did not work out. So this is what we have left. In any case, we're gonna make a go of it, and we're gonna get there and try to do that in this episode, and then we'll have to, no doubt, have to build up another mission to send help out to pick him up, or at the very least refuel his vehicle or something. But we are going to continue with the mission. So last time we did get this encounter, and what I'm just going to try to do is refine that a bit with RCS, and it's not really doing anything for me right now. Oh, that's making it worse. Let's undo that. Oh, that's helping a bit. Let's just stay with this. Oh, that made it worse. Okay, there we go. I'm going to speed up a little bit and go out. See, that's making quite a big difference, actually. Oh, that stopped helping. Okay, so we're going to have to get closer in order to get any more real adjustment. Wow, yeah. And it looks, we're definitely going behind it, which is good news too, because it's flinging us into this higher orbit. That's how you can tell we're coming in behind it, which is good. That's the direction we want to go, because Laythe is orbiting in that same direction around Jool. It orbits in the same direction around Jool, like so, counterclockwise, that Jool orbits around the sun. In fact, all the planets orbit around the sun Kerbal in the same direction. Which is, of course, typical to how things work in our solar system, and in, as far as I know, all known solar systems, planets all rotate the same way, and that's because of the way that solar systems form. They all form from the same batch of material that's all spinning in one direction, effectively, and so your orbits all end up in that same direction. That's the short version. If you want the real version of, it's quite a long discussion of how solar systems form, and there's quite a bit of debate on the exact mechanics of how all that works. Alright, so we've got a bit closer. We're going to try to refine this a bit more. Okay, so that's going to help. I'd like to get this down into the hundreds of thousands of, or the hundreds of kilometers instead of the thousands of kilometers. See if we can get closer to the plane too. That might help. Oh, there we go. That's bringing us in plane a little bit more. See that purple orbit is flattening out, which means we're not coming in as high as we were. Ooh. Actually, I don't want to smack into Jool. So let me actually add some height and try to correct my angle some more before I get there, because that angle could be pretty severe if you're not careful. So I'm going to try to take that out as much as I can before encountering Jool, and then I'll just keep slowing myself down just a bit to get that, to a non-zero parity. Says, wow, we are coming in close to the planet, because it really wants to shoot us out there. It's quite the encounter we're getting. Alright, that is looking not too shabby, actually. Normally whenever I do a Jool mission, which I've done a couple of times, the inclination ends up being sort of brutal when you come in, and this seems to have addressed that to a significant degree. So we'll see. That should make our entry burn reasonably efficient. And that says 1,000 kilometers. That's not too bad. Should put us in a good position to make a shot at Laythe, which is of course our true target. Of course, this encounter is over a year away, so I think I'm going to cut away because even at fast forward this is going to take some time, and I will catch up with you in a bit. Okay, so we have entered Jool orbit. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it out on YouTube, but there it is, this little green ball way out in the distance there. Can't see any of the moons at the moment. But you see, we are in fact captured. Well, not captured. We have encountered Jool, and our periaps is recalculated a bit to 2,500 meters, or 2,500 kilometers rather. And I'm going to set my focus to Jool so I can actually look at what this looks like. And that is pretty decent, actually. That's going to get us inside Laythe's orbit. So that's just about where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and see what my burn will look like from here. I just want to get a capture look, something like that. Oh, whoa! Oh, did I really just get that lucky? Oh, wow. That is cool. I can go straight to a Laythe encounter. That is brilliant. Oh, man. It's kind of a high Laythe encounter, but I will take it. That's freaking beautiful. Yes, I mean, I planned that. I totally planned that. It's exactly what I had in mind from the beginning. Yeah, okay. You don't believe me. That's fine. I wouldn't believe me either. And that says it's a 1,300 meters per second burn, so that actually is not as bad as I was afraid it would be. That's probably still going to be, with these fairly low thrust engines, it's probably still going to be a few minutes long. So I will be doing a test burn before I get there to figure out what that exact number is. I don't want to be surprised at the last minute to find out it's super long or something. Alright, so let's get this a nice hefty fast forward since this maneuver is almost 2 months away. Yeah, look at the moons just zipping around. We were actually, since we're coming in plane, we were somewhat fortunate we actually did not get an encounter with one of the other moons on the way in, because that really, that could have been a problem, or it could have helped us. I mean, you could have an encounter that you can use as sort of a braking maneuver. Alright, here, let's go back. With 5 days to maneuver, let's see how close we are now. Yes! I think that's Laythe right there. That's where we're going. And that's the ice one, I think, maybe. Oh, we're actually really close to, what are we looking at here? Tylo? That's cool. So yeah, Vol is the ice world, and Laythe out there as well. So cool. So there's Tylo, Laythe, and Vol. Very cool. Got a nice close encounter there. I wasn't expecting that. Actually, since we're here, let's do a crew report. The planet is a wholesome green color. You note down that more planets should be this color. Silly Kerbans. Cool. Where are the other moons at? I don't know. We made some of the others are on kind of these inclined orbits, so they're going to be hard to find visually. Both Bop is way down there below the plane, and Paul is tiny and way out there, so we'll be lucky if we can see it. It's above Laythe. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if we can find it. No, that looks like that's part of the background there. It might be too far out because that's a tiny one. Oh well. Oh well. Back to fast forwarding. Okay. Oop. Don't want to fast forward too fast now, because if we miss this one, we're kind of in trouble. All right. So an hour out. I'm gonna do just a quick jump this to full throttle. Actually, let me make sure I'm not disable cross feed. I don't want to be taking fuel out of my space plane. So let's do a quick jump to full throttle, and then cut back to nothing. Okay, so it's saying that's a 5.5 minute burn. Okay, so I'll probably end up cutting away for this, but I do want to show at least the start of it, and then come back when we're almost done with it. So that means we want to start our burn at about 2 minutes, T-minus 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I am going to err on the side of going early, because I do not want to miss this, because we are moving quite fast. You see, we are moving at 6.5 kilometers per second, and we are still accelerating. We'll be going above 7 by the time we get there. So these orbits around Laythe, or Jool rather, will be quite fast, simply because of the mass of the body and all this kind of fun stuff that's going on here. So I'm actually going to burn, as I'm thinking about this, I'm going to start my burn early. I'm going to start at, you know, just under 3 minutes, maybe 2:55 or something like that, rather than risk missing it. I can always let up on the throttle if we get ahead of our burn. If we get behind it, we're kind of SOL. You know, not a whole lot you can do about that. Okay, so we'll drop back to real time. Get our pointing dead on here. So we want to keep this nice and clean. Light the engines up. And here we go. Here we go with our Jool capture burn. How is it that I can't find Jool? Oh my god, there it is. What the hell camera view am I on that it didn't find? I was on the free camera. There we go. That's why the angle looked funky. Oh, and we got a nice view of Laythe there in the background too. Photographic moment. Bob! Look at Bob! The Panic Master is actually enjoying himself. He clearly loves being by this gigantic green planet. He did note that more planets should be this color. So obviously he's fairly excited about being here. Despite having left most of his rocket out in interplanetary space. Ooh, it sure is big, considering we're still 2,500 kilometers away from it. It's pretty much filling the screen. It is many times bigger than Kerman. Pretty impressive. Of course, there's no landing on Jool, being a gas giant. You try to land on there, you get to what it calls the surface, and that's basically the crush depth, at which point your vehicle is destroyed and anything on board is lost. So we're not going to be doing any of that. So as this burn still has about 3-4 minutes almost left, I'm going to go ahead and cut away and come back when we're nearly done. Alright, we're under a minute remaining now in our burn. And if we pop over to the map, you'll see that we in fact already have our Laythe encounter. We're just now working to improve it basically down to this, you know, sort of closest point I was able to get in this pass. We had a brief encounter pop up with Vol on the way down while our orbit was changing, so we could have done a flyby on that for some science. But let's not mess with that too much. I don't feel like taking my chances. I'm trying to get more out of this after already having one sort of disaster. So one planet at a time. One moon at a time. Whoa, oh, we got it. Oh, that's even better. Nice. Okay, I'm actually going to raise that up just a bit. Whew. Alright. Alright. Okay, so quick save. For all the good that did me before in the previous episode. I'll do some more science. Take a crew report. Well, we're in near Jool, but it's the same observation. But that's okay. It's science. We'll do a quick EVA. Just hang on, Bob. Just hang on. Get our EVA reports. 56 science while in space near Jool. Alright, and we'll go ahead and review and transmit that. Alright, so we're already getting some good science. This mission should basically unlock the rest of the tree forest, I think. We'll see. Should be able to get quite a bit of science out of this run, although that's really not the objective. We're just out here to explore, to see things. Let's change our target to Laythe. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that it did this. When you change your target to Laythe, it actually shows you the orbit relative to Laythe. That's actually kind of nice. I did not realize it would do that. Huh. Neat. Features. New features coming out all the time. I don't recall it doing that. Alright, so that's only a matter of hours away now. Exciting stuff. Oh. Alright. Alright, it's not quite equatorial, but I'm getting picky now. Let's just get into orbit. Set up for our landing, and then we'll worry about how we're going to encounter or rendezvous with a recovery vehicle later. Since odds are it's going to have to be a different vehicle than this one. Anyway. Whew. Although, we have quite a bit of fuel left here. Although I'm not really willing to bet that that's going to be enough to get us all the way back to Kerman. If the whole vehicle had been intact, it would have been more than enough. More than enough. But no such luck. There it is, Bob. Look at him. He's all excited. He's all smiley. He's almost there, where no Kerman has yet tread. So turn him around so we can get a better look at the place. Of course, unfortunately, we can't do an IVA in this particular capsule because you can't actually see out the window, so it does spoil some of the cool cinematic shots we might otherwise be able to get. Alright. Whew. Okay, fast forward time. We were quite fortunate to be able to get an encounter without having to do a bunch of loops around Jool. So this is one of my... It's probably my cleanest, other than the spontaneous rocket self-destruction. In terms of orbital insertion to Jool, it's probably one of the cleaner Jool missions I've ever done. In terms of getting in, getting a nice close encounter, and not needing a special burn just to drop my periapsis down. Not needing... Oh, that's a 2.5 minute burn. I better get set up for it. Not needing multiple burns to make it to a planet. We only did one burn so far in Jool orbit, and we're only going to need one burn in Laythe orbit here to get a nice, 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer orbit. I'm once again turned the wrong direction and found the wrong node. Come on, Bob. Stop gawking and spin it around. There we go. Alright. Hee, cool. Alright, while we're waiting around here, Laythe looks a lot like Kerman. You wonder what would happen if you took your helmet off down there. Well, fortunately for Bob, there is no take your helmet off button at the moment. There is, we know there to be oxygen on Laythe. That's how the jet engines will function. Whether or not there is something else in the atmosphere that would be bad for a Kerman to breathe, we do not know. And that is one of the reasons we are doing this mission. So we can do atmospheric measurements, we can do all sorts of science, and learn more about this very special little moon. Fortunately, we're doing our approach here on the dark side, as is traditional. And this burn should start about 1 minute and 16 seconds prior to the node. So we're coming up on it. Alright, here we go. Commencing entry burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Main engine start. Alright, let's see. This is probably going to get us a capture pretty quick, but then take a while to come down to the circular orbit. Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it! Despite missing 80% of your engines and 80% of your fuel, you have managed to get us here. I say that's not entirely true. The boosters did get us most of the way here. But whatever. This little leftover of a rocket, the little stub of a rocket, has been performing quite well for us. And Bob took it all in stride. Here, let's get some more light on the situation. Not really. The landing lights are kind of pointed in the wrong direction to light up the vehicle. And we're way too far away on the dark side. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see really much of the surface until we loop back around. In the meantime, though, let's look at some of these bodies of land. Some of them have some promising areas to land on. This plane might be decent, although that's pretty far off of our orbit and pretty far off the equator, which would make rendezvousing with another vehicle difficult. This island is a candidate. Looks like the area around these lakes should be relatively flat. We may also be able to land on these flats here. And it looks like there's just tons of water out here, so there may not be many candidates. It'd be nice to aim for one of these larger islands so we can afford to overshoot or circle back and look for a good landing spot. Because if we try to land here, for example, and can't find a good spot, then we have to fly all the way across this ocean and get over to here, which, you know, we could probably do, but would use an awful lot of fuel. So I think we'll start off with these two islands as candidates, with some of these others as backups or potential places to abort to should we miss our primary targets. That's at 122 by 136. Let's give that just a little bit more. Oh, whatever. That's not really going to circularize. Circularize? It's not going to circularize. It's not going to circularize. Much more than that. Okay. Whew. We have our capture. Now what I'm probably going to have to do here is do a couple of orbits before I pick a spawn. I'm not sure how fast Laythe itself is orbiting. Or not orbiting, but rather spinning, rotating about its own axis relative to our orbit. So, because if we tried to detach and do our burn now, it's hard to say where exactly we'd end up relative to these islands. What I am going to do is get my vehicle set up for descent. So we want to... Alright, we got full fuel in that, which is what we want. We got full liquid fuel in both of these. Which is not... And we got full oxidizer in these also. So let's get this oxidizer out. Nope, wrong switch. Damn it, do what I want you to, not what I'm telling you to. Okay. So can I... Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to put set amounts of fuel or oxidizer in these tanks. I'm going to try to get... Whoop, okay. I'm going to try to get a little bit of oxidizer in these external ones, just because I'm going to use that, a little bit of that to burn, to do my, you know, entry burn. So I'm going to try to get about 15 in each. There we go. That'll just give us enough to give a couple quick bursts of the engines without adding a whole bunch of weight. And then the remainder of the liquid fuel in these outboard tanks is just for jet flight, which we can use a good chunk of that while we're on our landing pattern. And then the remainder, of course, is for exiting the atmosphere later. You know, once we have a vehicle to return to, because this is not going to get us. This is not going to get us back. Probably. I don't even want to attempt it. I want a vehicle that I know is going to get us back, because if we have to do... We know we can get a vehicle up here to Laythe. We've just done it. We can get a guy here. We can recover Bob. And we'll recover the whole vehicle. I'm not sure that if he were to end up in interplanetary space, stuck, that we would have as easy a time finding him. I could probably do it, but it's something I haven't done before, so it would be kind of tricky, and I'm not sure I want to take my chances. Besides, I get to spend more time on Laythe, which I'm sure he will enjoy. Alright, so, you know what? No time like the present. let's just go ahead, after a quick save, go ahead and detach and go for landing. Oh, it'll work better for RCS if I, turn on the RCS tank. There we go. Now that works better. But you know what? This landing's going to take a long time. And this episode is already 20 odd minutes long. So, I'm going to do this in the next episode. Ha! Teaser! You have to tune in again to see the landing. Ha ha! Alright. Good day, folks. I'm Southern Wolverine here in orbit around the moon Laythe with Bob Kerman. Wishing you a good day.